Hello, my name is Jake Arnold, and before I begin, I just want to preface that East Palestine is not my hometown, but I have family members who live near that region of Ohio and wanted to do something different than probably what most others are making their presentations on. So I'm going to take you through a story of how a small, tight-knit town, East Palestine, Ohio, was turned upside down in the span of a single night. The East Palestine train derailment is a reminder of how quickly normal life can be disrupted by an unexpected disaster. In this presentation, I'll walk you through the events leading up to that night, the immediate consequences, and the lasting impact on the community. Let's rewind to the day before everything changed, February 2nd, 2023. It was a typical day in East Palestine, a small town with just over 4,700 residents. The kind of place where everyone knows each other and life moves at a peaceful pace. Families were going about their routines, businesses were open as usual, and there was no sign of an impending disaster. It was just an ordinary day marked by the sound of passing trains, a common occurrence in this part of the country. Among these trains was a Norfolk Southern freight train, but the residents didn't know whether this particular train carried a dangerous load. The train was a massive 149-car vehicle, and 20 of those cars were loaded with hazardous materials, including vinyl chloride, a highly flammable chemical used in making plastic. Vinyl chloride, in large quantities, is not just dangerous, it's deadly. But that day, the train moved along its usual route, seemingly without issue, as it had many times before. Then, just a day later, at approximately 9 p.m. on February 3rd, 2023, disaster struck. As the train rolled through East Palestine, 38 of its cars derailed. What followed was a chemical fire that would change the town forever. The fire sent plumes of toxic smoke into the air, and hazardous chemicals began to spill onto the ground and seep into the environment. Vinyl chloride, along with other chemicals such as ethylene glycol monobutyl ether and butyl acrylate, started to spread through soil and water. The immediate reaction from the town was panic, obviously. Residents were evacuated in the middle of the night as authorities feared the long-term consequences of exposure to these toxic chemicals. Over 1,500 people were forced to leave their homes, uncertain if they would ever be able to return safely. Schools were closed, businesses shut down, and the town's peaceful existence was shattered. Many residents described it as living in a nightmare. An ordinary day had turned into a life-threatening crisis almost overnight. Perhaps the most alarming part of this event was the environmental contamination. According to a report from the Environmental Protection Agency, significant amounts of vinyl chloride were detected in the town's water systems. This caused major widespread fear as residents were told not to drink that water. The air quality was another major concern. With the burning of chemicals like vinyl chloride, the town's air became hazardous to breathe. A cloud of toxic smoke spread over the region, raising concerns about the long-term health effects on residents. The response to the disaster was swift, but for many, it felt like it was too little, too late. The EPA, state, and local agencies began contaminant efforts, trying to prevent the contamination from spreading further. Officials conducted water and air tests, and a major cleanup operation began. However, despite their efforts, there was growing distrust among the residents. Even after being told it was safe to return, many people refused to go back, worried that the town would never truly be free from the chemicals that had leaked into their environment. Over a year later, the scars of the derailment still remain. Although most residents have been able to return to their homes, the psychological and emotional impact lingers. The people of East Palestine now live with uncertainty. What will the long-term effects of the exposure to these chemicals be? The quiet, peaceful town they once knew will likely never be the same. What was a normal day turned into a defining moment in the town's history, leaving residents to grapple with questions about their health, their homes, and their future. For this presentation, I referenced multiple sources, including articles from CNN, New York Times, and a few reports from the Environmental Protection Agency to assure accuracy. So the most challenging part of this project was filtering all the information on the derailment, so it only provided main details for the story and focused on a more human-centered narrative. And then, unlike Project One, where it was just an emphasis on facts, I concentrated on more so like storytelling and how, the day before, the lead up to it, and then how things transpired afterwards. Try to craft a narrative that could, engage the audience or be a little bit more entertaining for somebody. Yep, thank you.